The world was watching as Donald Trump, master of the deal, unveiled his latest, flashiest offer, aimed at Mark Carney. Everyone expected a handshake and a headline, but then Carney did the unthinkable. He said no. Not with drama, not with anger. Just a calm, polite thanks, but no thanks. The silence was deafening. Pundits scrambled, headlines flipped, and suddenly, the story was Carney's refusal. In America, where power moves are everything, this was a shockwave. Trump's brand is about making offers you can't refuse. Carney's no wasn't just a rejection of a deal. It was a rejection of that entire philosophy. A quiet Canadian-British banker had just told a New York mogul his playbook wouldn't work. The world took notice. Carney became an overnight icon for strategic resistance. His refusal was more than a no. It was a statement. Not every problem can be solved with bluster, and not everyone can be bought. For a world tired of political strongmen, Carney's quiet defiance was a breath of fresh air. Suddenly, everyone wanted to know, who is Mark Carney, and how did he pull this off? The refusal became a global phenomenon, a moment of pure political theater with no script. Carney's move left the US and Trump utterly speechless, and that's how a single no broke the internet. So, who is Mark Carney? Imagine James Bond in a suit, but instead of gadgets, he wields economic policy. Canadian economist, former governor of the Bank of Canada, then the Bank of England, the first non-Brit in centuries. He's known for calm, sharp analysis and a reputation for independence. Now, Trump's deal, the Patriot Prosperity Pact, a new global financial alliance with the US at the center, promising deregulation, a digital currency, and preferential trade. It was classic Trump, bold, disruptive, and designed to shake up the world order. To give it credibility, Trump needed a big name. Enter Carney. The offer, chairman of the pact, massive salary, total autonomy, on paper. For Carney, it was a chance to shape global finance like never before. The media called it a masterstroke. The pressure was on: say yes and you're a hero, say no and you risk looking afraid or unambitious. All Carney had to do was accept and Trump's victory lap would begin. But Carney saw something others didn't. And that's where the story really gets interesting. Trump's offer looked golden, but Carney saw the trap. First, autonomy from Trump. History says otherwise. Trump demands loyalty, not independence. Carney would be the face, but Trump would pull the strings. Second, reputation. Carney's legacy is independence. Accepting would tie him to Trump's polarizing brand. Win or lose, Carney's name would be on the line. Third, ideology. Carney champions global cooperation and climate action. Trump's pact was the opposite. Nationalistic, protectionist, anti-institution. Taking the job would mean betraying his own beliefs. Finally, the spectacle. Trump made the offer public to corner Carney. Say yes, Trump wins. Say no. Trump spins it as globalist elite refusing bold ideas. It was a loyalty test, designed so Trump couldn't lose. But Carney saw every layer of the trap. He knew that sometimes the only way to win is not to play. The real test wasn't about the job. It was about who controlled the narrative, and Carney was about to flip the script. Carney's refusal was pure strategy, a chess move, not a tantrum. He waited, let the suspense build, then declined with a respectful, almost boring statement. No drama, no insults, just a calm, not the right fit. Trump thrives on conflict, but Carney gave him nothing to fight. It was judo, using Trump's momentum against him, leaving Trump swinging at air. Carney's measured response made it impossible for Trump to attack without looking petty. By staying above the fray, Carney preserved his independence and credibility. He sent a message. My principles aren't for sale. The refusal boosted his global standing. He became the man who couldn't be bought. Carney played the long game, choosing legacy over a flashy title. He saw Trump's pact as a short-term play, and he wanted no part of it. His no was a yes to his own values, and a masterclass in strategic restraint. Sometimes the most powerful move is simply to walk away. Trump's style is a hammer loud, direct, overwhelming. He makes big offers, applies pressure, and expects surrender. Carney's style? Judo. He redirects force, avoids conflict, and lets his opponent overextend. Trump wanted a public fight, but Carney sidestepped, leaving Trump with nothing to hit. Usually, Trump attacks those who reject him. But Carney's polite no left no opening. Attacking Carney would have made Trump look weak, not strong. This wasn't just about personalities, it was about worldviews. Trump sees every deal as a battle to win. Carney sees a web of relationships to manage. Carney didn't need to defeat Trump, he just needed to avoid being controlled. By choosing judo over a fist fight, Carney won on his own terms. The contrast exposed the limits of brute force in a world that values credibility. Carney's move became a blueprint for resisting high-pressure tactics. Sometimes, the softest defense is the strongest. In this game, Carney didn't just survive, he thrived. And the world took notice. Carney's refusal was a political earthquake. For Trump, it punctured the myth of inevitable success and showed others it's possible to resist. In Washington, Carney's move became a playbook for saying no without a fight. Globally, it reassured leaders who value alliances and stability. Carney's stand was a quiet vote of confidence in the existing order, just as Trump tried to disrupt it. Financial markets breathed easier. Without Carney, Trump's pact looked shaky. Investors saw the refusal as a sign the old system wasn't going to be upended overnight. Most importantly, Carney exposed the weakness in Trump's high-pressure tactics. He showed that legacy and principle can trump money and fear. The ripple effect? Leaders everywhere are rethinking how to handle strongmen. Carney proved that substance can outlast spectacle. The game has changed. Picture a mob movie. Don Trump wants to go legit, needs a clean face. Mark Carney, the city's most trusted accountant. Trump makes the classic offer. Big money, big title, you'll be the boss. Everyone expects Carney to say yes. Who refuses the Don? But Carney knows the real deal. Boss means do what I say. And if things go bad, he takes the fall. His reputation would be toast. He'd be Don Trump's guy forever. So Carney looks the Don in the eye and says, "Thank you, but I must respectfully decline." The room goes silent. The Don is stunned. Because Carney was so polite, Trump can't retaliate without looking bad. Carney walks out with his integrity and more respect than ever. He didn't just save himself. He showed everyone you don't have to play the Don's game. That's what Carney did. He refused the offer you can't refuse and rewrote the rules. Sometimes the bravest move is to walk away. And that's how you outsmart the boss. So, what's next? Trump's first move for his pact was publicly rejected. He can find someone else, but they'll always be the second choice. Or he can double down, try to discredit Carney, or push the pact as a fight against the elite. But without Carney, the pact lacks credibility. For Carney, his stock has never been higher. He's now the go-to voice for integrity in global finance. Offers will pour in, but he's free to choose his battles. This moment exposed the limits of personality-driven politics. Leaders everywhere are watching, emboldened to stand on principle. The fate of Trump's pact is uncertain, but Carney's impact is clear. He's drawn a line in the sand, forcing a global conversation about leadership. The next chapter? It's anyone's game. Mark Carney's refusal wasn't just a headline, it was a turning point. It crystallized a bigger conflict. Disruption and force versus integrity and strategy. For years it seemed only the loudest voices could win. Carney's no proved otherwise. He showed there's power in quiet independence, in refusing to be co-opted. His move is now a model for anyone pressured to compromise their principles. Trump's offer was hard power, money, position, pressure. Carney's answer was soft power, reputation, credibility, moral authority. By turning down the former, he amplified the latter. He left the table with no title, but a global reputation for unshakable integrity. This moment reset the board for international politics and finance. It proved alliances need trust, not just force, and that even the most powerful have limits. In the end, Carney's quiet no became the most formidable move of all.